Welcome to the Living LG3 podcast. Hi, I'm Rachel Niemeyer, your host. Do you ever wonder what happens with big emotions inside of a school? Today we are going to have with us Sara Stanford and Sara Heiser, our elementary counselors. Welcome, ladies.
Good morning.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's so fun that you guys were able to join us. So you guys just got back from celebrating birthdays.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's something we just started celebrating once a week this year.
Right.
Mrs. Heiser and I get to meet with kids that it's their birthday, and we just want to explain to them how much they're loved by God, that they were made with a purpose. We just want them to know and celebrate who they are.
Yeah.
And so it's been a fun way to just connect with them. It's a way for us to get in front of each kid each year in a fun, positive way.
Totally. That's the cool part about it, right? Is so much of your world is big things, right? Emotions and sometimes heavy stuff. But then you have this opportunity to get into the classroom and bring in some really cool things. So I'm just excited for you guys to be with us and be able to share with our audience just like what your guys' roles like. So tell us a little about each of you, like what you do at the elementary side.
Yeah, so my role is new this year, and so I might be a new face to some of the families and some of the students. And so I would kind of consider myself like the intro to school. So I primarily serve our kindergarten and first grade families, and I like to really help transition families in for the first time. It's a big change when kids are little and they're at school for the first time. And so my role is really just to help them learn how to be a student, learn how to be in our building, and have a lot of fun and make sure that they understand that school gets to be a lot of that too. So
Yeah.
And I get to see, as counselor K through 5, I would say Sara does more of the K1 part-time. And so just over all of the K through 5 and getting to just talk to kids in the classroom. I get to do a lot of different things throughout the day. We focus more, I would say, obviously they're into school at this point, but we help kids with friendship issues. We help kids in different small groups, classrooms, individually if there's big emotions going on. And so we both are doing those kind of things. And so every day is different.
Yeah.
We think that our day might look a certain way, but we never know what's going to come our way. So
Right. So one of those that maybe kind of hits the ground running at the beginning of the year, you have like kindergarten kids that are crying and all the way to fifth grade for different reasons. There's tears, right? And so I think it'd be interesting, I think, for our listeners just to hear like what happens when kids are having a meltdown or they're having a hard time. Like what's that process? Like what happens? What do you guys do? Yeah.
I think that one of the first things that comes to mind is we know as counselors and as parents that that's really normal. And so we expect big emotions in kids all across the board in elementary school. They're tackling tough things and tricky problems, and they're working on friendship, and they're just learning so much. And so sometimes I recognize it's just really big feelings in really small bodies. And so I think as counselors, one of the first things that we do is we really want to see the kids. We really want to recognize what's happening. We want to have the opportunity to sometimes meet with them one-on-one. Sometimes we're in their classrooms. Sometimes we're in the hallway. It's our job to really have eyes to see who needs what. And so one of the ways we do that is just seeing kids and caring for them that way, listening to them, all of those kind of things, and then helping them build some of those tools so they can navigate those bigger feelings on their own as they continue to grow and to mature. So.
I think making them just feel comfortable. I think sometimes we do that, like she said, by maybe they come to our office, even just a quick walk. But we're really just wanting to teach some of those skills. We work a lot on deep breathing, just regulation skills, because we're all going to have big emotions at some point. And so for all of us to learn that, I think it's just a normal part of our day, is that's what we're experiencing and helping kids.
What would you guys say is like one of the big emotions you guys experience? Like what's a common one in elementary?
Yeah, I would say worry. Worry or I think worry is probably the biggest one. I would say when you get into the upper grades, though, like third, fourth, fifth, we'll see more anger. And so some of the boys especially are working through just anger and what that looks like. Their bodies are growing, and so learning how to deal with that.
And would you say that you talk about that, like, when you go into a classroom? Is anger one of those things that you talk through? Give us a few, like, quick tips of, like, even at home, like if your kid's going through a big anger stage, right? They're kind of working through that big emotion. What are some couple tips that you would give to a parent at home if that's happening?
Yeah. I always like to think about it like this. So as you watch your kiddo maybe have like a big anger outburst or even a big like worry or nervous and whatever that big emotion looks like.
Yeah.
I like to encourage parents to make space for that. So the calmer that I can stay when they're having a big emotion. And I say I because we're parents too. And we have kids with big feelings. And so this isn't something that we just do here in the classrooms.
Yeah.
Parents. It's what we're doing in our own home as well. And so the calmer that I can stay, the more I can allow space for that big emotion to come out.
Yeah.
As opposed to trying to like squish it down and stop it. Just letting it come out. And then on the backside of that, being able to speak truth over what that was. Like, you were so scared. You were so mad. Here's what the Lord says about that.
Do you guys have an example of that? Like maybe something that happened at school or at your own home?
Yeah. I think just being able to help them name their feeling. We had a student this year that came up to me and said, Mrs. Stanford, you've helped me because I know I was so angry, and now I've learned the tools, and I'm learning how to deal with that. And that's a lifelong process, too, where we're trying to figure out, why do I feel this? I know this is a big feeling. I know God can help me through it, but what are the strategies that work for me? Because there's so many different strategies. I was going to add to that, too, is we do a lot. It's like even in our home, at school, we call it a peaceful corner, where a lot of the classrooms will have a place for a kid to be able to take a break and regulate. Even in our home, we've created that space, whether it's a closet or it's their bedroom. But I think just for kids to know this is a normal thing that we can work through.
Totally.
And then I think in the school building, my peaceful corner is in Mrs. Stanford's
Yes.
and hers is in mine.
Yes.
That's we have each other together.
Yes.
Isn't that the truth? Like feelings just continue. They don't go away, right? And so like giving them those foundational things. Like I always remember talking about a toolbox, right?
Yes.
It's concrete, but our feelings don't feel that way, right? Because it can change so quickly. And so how do you help kids move from like the roller coaster of emotion to a space of like, God's got this. Like, can you tell us a little bit about how you, maybe example of what you watched that with a student or how you get there?
I think being able to work with parents in that of, hey, these are the strategies that we're trying at school, but also to make it real life at home too. Like, let's say a kid struggles with perfectionism, that it's hard for them when they get something wrong or something. I think it's also at home, like having them experience some of that in real life situations too, where even mom and dad are real about, hey, I messed up here, and this is how I'm handling it. And so,
I love that you bring that up because, right, that's a key part of our mission, right, just partnering with the home. But I also think about, like, we have some kiddos that go to counselors outside of school,
Sure,
like clinical counseling. I would love for you guys to share a little bit. What's that? How's that different? School versus clinical. Sarah, you've lived that world, so you can probably speak into that pretty well. So that, I would love to hear more about that. But then also, how does that partner with us here?
Yeah, so my background is school counseling as well as clinical counseling. And so that's kind of a unique opportunity to have seen kids in a lot of different settings. I love being in a school because I get to understand as a counselor all of the things that impact their day. So in the morning, they woke up and they were extra tired when I saw them come out of your car. And so I know that, we're going to need a little bit more time to wake up. Or I watched them eat their lunch, and they didn't eat a lot of lunch, which means that by the afternoon, we might be a little bit more irritable because we're kind of hungry. And so I can kind of look at that larger picture. A clinical counselor is a great opportunity to support your family in addition to what we do here. And so they're very specialized to be able to see kids, a large spectrum of children. And they get a small snippet of time with you each week, but they also get to give you really great tools. They get to one-on-one meet with your child and kind of really come up with some goals and some plans. And so I think the partnership's really important because we get to see and support them over a large amount of time. We're some of the people that see the children for the majority of their week. So that time that we get with them is so important. And then I think a clinical counselor is so important to come in with additional tools and skills and insights that can be really helpful for families.
It's almost like that deeper dive, right?
Because I would say we're more brief at school. We would be considered brief counseling. And so it's more, we'll have 15 minutes or so
Yeah.
with them. And sometimes we aren't able to get to all of the things that a clinical therapist would be able to do.
Yep.
And so we often do recommend different counselors outside of these walls.
Yep.
And it is nice, too, because then a clinical therapist would be able to do more of a family approach, too,
Yeah.
to meet with families.
Well, and you guys have, how many students do we have in the elementary, right?
Yeah, 650.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. So that that shows how we need to have that opportunity to refer them to that space where it can get deeper.
Yep.
Yeah. Otherwise, we need like 30 of us. In here.
Yes.
I'm gonna take it.
Yeah. Right. So tell us a little bit more about confidentiality.
Yeah.
Our training that we've had. That's probably one of the number one things that you learn. What does that look like for you guys? Because it's different. Like I would say within the walls of a school, counseling's very confidential. Yes, other people have confidentiality spaces, but it's very unique to counselors. Can you explain that a little bit more for our
Yeah.
listeners?
So I explain it to our little kids, and we talk about it in the classroom, in our classroom lessons. We talk about confidentiality, and that means that your information is safe with me. We all need a safe place to share the things that we're feeling and talking about, whether it be something at home and whether it be something that's happening in the classroom. And so kids know that their information stays with us. We do talk about that confidentiality keeps you safe, and that's our job. So that also means that there are times that children are sharing with us that they've been hurt, they want to hurt other people, someone is hurting them, then that is a time that we know that we need to pull in more people to keep you safe.
Right.
And so we kind of explain that to kids so that they feel comfortable sharing with us. But then if important things are shared with us, then we do have a responsibility to keep kids safe outside of our building as well.
Yeah, definitely. So another one of your hats is going into the classroom, right? So tell us a little bit, maybe the last lesson that you guys did. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, for me, we right now, we do go into the classrooms once a month, and we've been doing stress and anxiety in 5th grade, and that's a lot of fun because just they're at that age where we're thinking about middle school right now. And so, of course, stress and worries are going to feel a little higher for some. And so we do different strategies where we actually get to practice them in the classroom. And so we have done like journaling where they write about things they're grateful for. We do listening to music. We do just like visualization, like we'll put something on the screen of something they love in God's creation. So whether that's a sunset or a mountain scene, but we just spend time practicing these things. I'm excited. This week, actually, we're bringing in a therapy dog. And so that's a lot of fun. It's just trying to teach them, like you said earlier, lots of tools to have in their toolbox when they're dealing with different emotions.
And the cool part is when you expose them to so many, right? Have you ever had, this is what I'm going to ask you. Have you ever had one of those light bulb moments with a kid where you're like, oh, that was their tool?
Yes.
Can you think of an example to share?
Yeah, so I was in the classroom this week, and we are talking about lots of different things in K1. We're specifically talking about body safety this week.
Okay.
And so that's a big topic.
It
Parents
is.
are aware that we're talking about that in the classroom. And so one of the tools that we were talking about before we started that lesson, though, was box breathing. So we were talking about how we can trace a box in our mind or on our leg or on a paper, and we can kind of follow our finger and breathe around the box.
Sure.
But as I was sharing that, there was a really excited little boy in kindergarten, and he was like, I actually do triangle breathing. So his family had already taught him a different shape and how to like trace his fingers and breathe along the way. And so I love that. Like we were sharing a tool, and then parents at home had already been teaching tools, and then they were able to connect that in the classroom of like, oh, I hear this, but I also know how to do this. And so that's a really great sign that our parents are also invested into this aspect of caring for kids. And so our kids are familiar already with how some of these tools can help them at home and at school. So
So our podcast is LG3, right? The Living LG3. So we've talked a lot about how they're loved and cared for. We've talked about how they're growing, right, with their emotion, how they handle that. How do you guys as counselors help the kids to go with what they're doing? I know you guys do some different projects, so speak into that a little bit. How those come about, the projects that you do. And then what's the why behind that?
One thing that I get to help with at school is chapel.
Yeah.
And so I think helping kids be able to be a part of that. So there either are, excuse me, I need my coffee. I think helping kids be able to be a leader at chapel, they can help behind the scenes, in front of people, and so we're really helping them in that. I think we've done different things too. This year we did a Ronald McDonald fun little drive where we did pop tabs, and kids were collecting that. Yeah.
It was fun to see their excitement. So my son came home with his little box, and so we have college kids coming over with our older son all the time.
Yes.
So he's like, pops it right by the refrigerator and telling them all to make sure they put their tabs in there when they come over. It's so sweet to see their excitement. So, and that comes from your guys' excitement, right? For the, and it's fun to see their love for the Lord pour out from those spaces just by how you guys walk that. So thank you. Another quick question that I think is really special about us being within a Christian school. How do you utilize forgiveness when you're walking friendship hard spaces with kids?
I think we know and believe that we can only forgive because God forgave us. And so it's part of the larger gospel story that we're trying to teach children and help children to understand. And so we recognize that within our school building, everyone's in a really different stage developmentally of faith and in their personal relationship with the Lord. So it's a great opportunity for us to talk about the gospel, like how God has forgiven us. And that gives us the opportunity to forgive others. And then out of that, right, we're praying that heart is changed, not because we can do anything, but because the Lord is changing their heart day by day. And so, but by modeling what that looks like, by talking through the language of what that sounds like, how to correct something with a friend, how to go to a friend, how to be honest, how to ask for forgiveness, how to accept it. We're modeling that behavior, and then we're asking the Lord to change the heart because we can't do that. And so that's kind of what that looks like, and what a unique opportunity that gets to be part of our job.
I was going to say, what a beautiful thing that we get to talk about the Lord here, because I can't imagine doing counseling without the Lord in that. And so it just fits so well with what we get to do.
Yeah, for sure. It feels like Band-Aids else, right?
It does,
This is true healing. So one of the cool things that how God has brought us together as people is relationships, which is a big part of your guys' world. But how do we extend that beyond just you guys? There's only two of you. How do you bring other people into students' world and help walk alongside them?
Yeah, I think what comes to my mind right away is our mentor program we have here. We work a lot with Mr. Vanderleest in the high school, our spiritual life director, and he helps us just partner high school kids with our elementary kids. Just once a week, kids get to come down, hang out with kids for 15 to 20 minutes. And I think that's so fun for me to see because a lot of these kids I had as elementary kids, and maybe I knew some of the things that were going on in their lives at that time, and just to see how God's been working in their lives. And now they're giving back to our elementary kids maybe that are struggling with something. It's really fun to see when they reach out. They're like, hey, I want to be able to give back that way. And our elementary kids love mentor time. So
For sure. Yeah. I was thinking, too, how, mentors make a big difference. You guys make a big difference. Or giving this foundation as you get bigger. Have you noticed, probably, Sarah, you've been here a while, notice kids that have had hard in elementary and they just mature, they take those tools, and all of a sudden you're watching them graduate and you're like, oh my goodness, they're so in such a good space.
It's almost like being a proud mama, right?
Yeah, right.
Not that we take that place, but just we want to just help them succeed, and we partner, like I said, with the parents, and it is such a blessing to see like God working in that. It's nothing we've done, but just walking alongside in the hard, and then getting to see the fruits of that.
Totally.
Yeah.
You guys are one of the tools that God uses, right, in their toolbox. So thinking about your guys' world is a lot of heavy, but there's also a lot of joy and a lot of fun. So tell us more about what that's like. I mean, we get to see Sarah every day and just being dressed up in an amazing way.
I know. I feel like a lot of parents
look at her earrings.
Right? Like to do that kind of stuff. That's kind of silly. Like part of that's like my personality, but part of that is intentional, especially working with our little kids. We like to find ways to bring light and joy, right? Like I believe that when Jesus lives in us, and we can be joy and we can be light. And so that's a way that we can also care for kids in the building. And so the little kids love when I have funny earrings on or I'm dressed in bright colors. And I think that's a way to bring a smile to their face. I think it's important for kids to recognize, like, we can do hard things because of the tools and the people that Lord gives us. And then God just gives us a lot of fun and joy and beauty. And so we can balance those things in a school building. And so it is fun working together.
Yeah.
Well, especially when we dress alike. The kids
Yeah.
love that.
Sometimes we have twinning days, and the kid thinks that's so fun.
Yes.
So Sarah and I love working together. We like making the job, though it is hard at times because of the weight that we carry for families.
Yeah.
We like to have fun. And we like to laugh a lot. And I think the kids see us enjoying our job. And I think that impacts our school day.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Tell us how you guys partner with our teachers. Our teachers are the hands and feet every single day with each of those students. So how does that look in that partnership with you guys?
Right.
Yeah.
I think that is a big part of our job that people don't realize.
Yeah.
And I think just walking alongside teachers in that, right? They have these students all day long. And so if there's ways that we can support them by giving ideas of different interventions that they might be able to try in the classroom, praying with them about their different students. But I think that partnership with teachers is essential to, again, helping the child grow.
Right.
It's really all of us together in that. So,
And we're so fortunate because we have such a great group of teachers.
Oh, yes.
And so in a lot of ways, it makes our job easy.
yeah. And they handle a lot of the things too.
They
Yes.
do. And so we love the ways that they're caring for kids really intentionally, that they're already using what we would consider like tools and counseling tools in the classroom. And then we just kind of come and partner with them. And so it's just sweet to see the way that all kind of mixes together. So
Yeah.
It's fun to see, like, if we've been in the classroom doing a different lesson, different teachers trying some of the activities that we've done.
Yeah.
That's really fun too.
That is
So,
really neat. The intentionality, right? Like we're just in a really special place.
We are.
When we have a vision of love, grow, go and glorify, right? And it's something that we all use on a regular basis constantly. And so as we wrap up our time together, do you guys have any encouraging words for our families or our listeners in regards to that, like loving, growing, going, glorifying in a way that they can partner with you guys at home with their students? Do you have any last words of wisdom or thoughts that you would like to share?
I think one of the biggest things that I always want to communicate to parents is just in like the large spectrum of children, like how normal kids stuff is. And so I just like parents sometimes just to take a deep breath, like remember just a lot of the things that kids do is still really, really normal.
Sure.
And how long the road is for all of us to maturity and development. And so I think hopefully that offers parents an opportunity to kind of like take a deep breath, offer themselves a lot of grace. Like the very best things that we can be doing for kids in school and at home is loving them and sharing the Lord with them and recognizing that He is the one that will care for them and develop them and change their hearts. And so I just think sometimes as a parent, I have to remember that the Lord is in control.
Yes.
And sometimes it's good for our parents here to remember that as well and take some of the pressure off that we feel around us to be perfect so our kids can be perfect, but that God offers a lot of grace in all of those things. So.
And kids grow and mature, and there's seasons of things that they're going to walk. But knowing that there's lots of people that care about your child, and we're going to help through all of those seasons. So
Yeah. Well, thank you too. I love your guys' heart. It's shining through those last 20 minutes. So just thank you again. And I know that you guys would want our listeners to know if they ever need anything, give you guys a call. Always have a great listening ear and a problem-solving skill set. And the bigger part is like God's in the middle of it all. So we're really excited and thankful for that. So thank you guys again.
yeah,
Great.
thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you too for joining us. Make sure to check out our other podcast. Until next time, have a great day.